Football is not only about winning matches, it is about creating moments that become history. Throughout the world, thousands of clubs have dreamed of becoming the greatest. They have spent billions of dollars, signed legendary players, and searched for the perfect formula for success. But there is one club that has built something different, a club whose name has become almost connected with European football itself: Real Madrid. When the Champions League anthem begins, when the lights shine inside the stadium, and when the pressure reaches its highest point, Real Madrid has repeatedly shown something special. They do not just compete in the Champions League, they believe they belong there. Real Madrid has won more European Cups and Champions League titles than any other club in football history. But the numbers alone cannot explain the story, because behind every trophy, there is a mentality. Behind every comeback, there is a belief. And behind every generation of champions, there is a culture that has been built for decades. So what is the real secret behind Real Madrid's unstoppable Champions League empire? Is it the money? Is it the legendary players? Is it the famous stadium, the Santiago Bernabeu? Or is it something deeper that other clubs have never been able to copy? To understand the answer, we must go back to the beginning. The story starts in the 1950s, when European football was searching for a new king. At that time, Real Madrid was not yet the global giant that the world knows today. But everything changed when a player arrived who would transform the club forever. His name was Alfredo Di Stéfano. Di Stéfano was not just a footballer. He was a complete force on the pitch. He could score goals, create chances, defend, control the rhythm of the game, and lead his teammates. He represented something bigger than talent. He represented ambition. With Di Stéfano leading the team, Real Madrid began creating a new standard in European football. In 1955, the European Cup was created, a competition that would later become the Champions League. While many clubs were still adapting to European competition, Real Madrid saw an opportunity to create history. They did not just want to participate, they wanted to dominate. Between 1956 and 1960, Real Madrid achieved something that had never been seen before. They won the first 5 European Cups, 5 consecutive European titles, a record that remains one of the greatest achievements in football history. Alongside Di Stéfano was another legendary figure, Ferenc Puskás. Puskás was one of the most incredible goal scorers the world had ever seen. His left foot was powerful, accurate, and almost impossible for defenders to stop. Together, Di Stéfano and Puskás created one of football's first super teams. But their success was not only because they had great players, it was because they created a winning mentality. A mentality that said, great players are not enough. Great players must win when history is waiting. Another important name from this era was Paco Gento. Gento became one of the biggest symbols of Real Madrid's European dominance. He won 6 European Cups, a record that showed how deeply connected Real Madrid had become with success in Europe. The first generation created the foundation. They created the belief. They created the idea that Real Madrid was not just another football club. It was a club built for the biggest moments. But football changes. Generations disappear. Legends retire. And every great empire faces the same question. Can it survive when its heroes are gone? For Real Madrid, the answer would come many years later. Because the secret of this club was never one generation. It was the ability to rebuild, to find new heroes, and to make every new player understand one important thing. Wearing the Real Madrid shirt means carrying the weight of history. This was only the beginning of the empire. The greatest chapters were still waiting to be written.
David Beckham. These players transformed Real Madrid into one of the most famous clubs in sports. Among them, one moment would become eternal. The 2002 Champions League final. Real Madrid faced Bayer Leverkusen. The match was balanced. The pressure was enormous. Then, just before halftime, the ball floated high through the air. Most players would have controlled it. Most players would have waited for a better opportunity. But Zinedine Zidane saw something nobody else imagined. Without hesitation, he struck the ball with a perfect left-footed volley. For a split second, time seemed to stop. Then the ball flew into the top corner. One of the greatest goals ever scored in a Champions League final. It was not just beautiful. It was fearless. It captured everything Real Madrid wanted to represent. Courage under pressure. Perfection in the biggest moment. The years that followed were not always successful. Despite signing superstar after superstar, Champions League trophies became difficult to win again. The football world began asking a dangerous question. Had Real Madrid lost its European magic? But inside the club, something different was happening. A new generation was quietly growing. One of its first leaders stood between the goalposts. Iker Casillas. Unlike many stars, Casillas did not arrive from another club. He was raised by Real Madrid. He understood its culture better than anyone. His incredible reflexes, calm leadership, and